Hello, everybody. Well, the week finally flew past, and the puppies did so well after the vaccinations. So, yay, and temperament testing, finally. I thought it would be fun to do these two temperament evaluations together because these two puppies are complete polar opposites, and I think it's interesting to see the difference that we can get even in one litter. This little girl here, she is very dark red, and she is super mellow, super easygoing, very cuddly. All she wants to do is hang in your lap. And then we have her sister, who is the complete polar opposite, very outgoing, very energetic, very playful, interested in exploring everything. And so I think it's interesting to see the two of them together side by side. Some traits have a tendency to correlate with one another. That's not always the case, but it is something that I often see. And so, usually, when I see a puppy like this little girl who's super energetic, she's extremely playful, versus someone like her who is just way more easygoing. She likes to play. So, a low energy puppy like this puppy doesn't mean that she doesn't play or want to take walks or exercise or anything like that. It's just that she is far more likely to chill. While this puppy, as you can see, is just very interactive. She wants to meet everyone. She wants to see everybody. She's interested in everything. Fearless, just sort of bounds into all new experiences without a whole lot of concern for her safety or well-being. And she's just full of energy. And so that energy has a tendency to push them to be more curious and to be more active. And so a puppy like this little girl who is very low energy, so on an energy scale of 1 to 5, this little girl gets a 2, and on an energy scale of 1 to 5, the little girl with the white face gets a 4.5. So she's super energetic, she's super outgoing. Whereas this puppy, she just wants to chill. Now she's gonna run around and be into everything. And so you can really see the dramatic difference between the two of them. Again, we have not been outside a lot. I wanted to get them outside, but because of the coyotes, we really wanted to sanitize everything and make sure that everything was good before we let anybody go outside, so we didn't pick up any parasites. And so they've been out on the concrete, but they haven't been in the grass much. And they play in the house all the time, and so how they behave outside is very different from how they behave inside. Same as if we took them to a completely new location in the world. You're really going to see nervous puppies. They don't know what's going on, and it's scary to them. But you can see with our little white faced girl here, she's not nervous at all. Like, her tail is going all the time. She's just not concerned. She is very people oriented, so she goes to the people, and she doesn't really run off and explore on her own. But that is not typical of cockapoos. Cockapoos are not super interested in exploring everything. They're more interested in their people. They will run around as they get bolder and bigger and less afraid of the outside world. But they're very, very people oriented. That's very common for this kind of dog. And so it's really unusual we see an independent cockapoo that's interested in sort of running off and getting into everything very far away from their people. They're far more likely to follow you, want to be with you. But as you can see, um, this little girl right here, she's very interested in everything around her. She has a shorter attention span. Her little tail is going all the time. She's very excited about everything. She wants to figure things out, but because she has more energy and a less attention span and less impulse control, she figures things out a little slower. Whereas this little lady, she figures out puzzles really quickly because her mind is like slower, more methodical, right? She thinks things through a little bit more, and she's not quite as motivated by wiggliness as her sister. So it's really interesting to see the two of them together, and how they behave. And so you can see with our little white-faced girl, she sort of climbs over everything. She dives headfirst into things, whereas the darker red girl, she's more likely to walk around obstacles rather than climb or throw herself into them. She's more hesitant about things. She's also very patient and tolerant and will pretty much do whatever you ask her to do so long as she understands what you're asking. Whereas the other girl is just so full of energy and excitement that she's sort of all over the place. And so you can kind of see that in this little interaction that we've got going on. Whereas the one girl will just sort of relax and chill, and she'll make her way over to people wherever they're at and then just snuggle with them. And this other girl is just back and forth between different people that are outside. She wants to get right in your face and kiss you. She wants to grab onto your shoe or your pant leg and explore things. Her tail never stops going. And so it's just such an interesting difference, sort of the two polar opposites that I ever see in a litter, between super cuddly lap dog and super energetic, playful, extrovert. So we'll start with this little lady. All puppies need to be socialized and sort of pushed out of their comfort zone in order to get braver and bolder and to realize that the world really isn't as dangerous or as huge and scary as they think it is when they're only 2 pounds, which these guys are only 2 pounds. Although you can see that that this little girl will need more socializing, the more standard level of socializing than her sister, who will just sort of, so long as she's exposed to things, will just be happy, so long as nothing traumatic happens to her. Whereas this little girl, I really want to encourage her to push herself past her boundaries and to gain some confidence and experience in the world. And that's way more typical. That's what I would expect with 99% of puppies. So I'm offering her a little bit of a treat here, just a little bit of liquid. They're not eating solid kibble yet. So this is just like a little gravy, to see if I can lure her to come a little farther and to stand up and to walk and to play. All puppies are playful. There's just no such thing as a truly low energy puppy, right? They don't just lay around like an adult might do. So inside a room where she is confident and she knows what's going on, this little girl is super playful. She'll chase toys and, try to play a little bit of tug of war. But she is far more inclined to just kind of snuggle or come chew on me or one of the kids. She doesn't really have any strong favorites for people. She just likes everybody that is a person. And she just wants to be right next to you all the time. So a little bit more of an introvert, but she's still going to be very playful. She's still going to require exercise every day. I don't want anyone to misunderstand low energy. She's just not all the time, going all the time with that tail like into everything. But when we're in the house and playing, she runs around and a little tail wags everywhere. But like most cockapoo puppies, they really mostly stick with people. So they'll run around and they'll explore their environment. But they're not super independent. They really like to hang out with you. They want you to throw a toy. They will bring you toys to your lap. And that's kind of what she'll do, is she'll bring toys over to me or to the kids, or she'll curl up, but her amount of energy and the amount of time that she plays is about half that of her sister. So for example, this isn't the kind of puppy that I would recommend with really boisterous children, because the children would probably be bored that she wasn't super playful all the time in their faces. Whereas if you have quiet children, who maybe are a little bit more sensitive or a little more fearful of dogs even, because she's very low energy, she's not likely to bite really hard. She's not likely to play too rough. She's just very polite. She's very sensitive to your emotions and she responds really well. When she chews, she's teething. And so when she starts chewing on my fingers, for example, if you make noise at her or you give her any indication that you don't like what she's doing, she'll immediately stop and then look at you and make sure that it's okay before she does anything else. Like, she's very in tune, and very cooperative and just sort of sweet and soft. And so if you're looking for like a lap dog, this is the one. So essentially, when it comes to being sort of an introvert versus an extrovert, she's really more like an introvert. Like, she is not going to want to be in super scary, chaotic, challenging situations all the time. She is going to prefer a quieter kind of home. She's going to be very easy. She's very easy to train thus far. She's just showing signs of high intelligence. And because she pays attention and she looks at you and she thinks things through, because she doesn't have 50,000 little puppy thoughts going through her head at once. She's just really quick to learn things and she picks up on things very fast. So she's going to be a really easy going sort of dog. So more of a quiet situation, I think, more of a, you know, not super athletic, but just sort of a quiet, easygoing, nice family dog. Yeah, a little cap on the little gravy here, and you could see that she figured it out almost instantly. Like, she pushed that right off. Of all of the puppies, she is always the first to figure something out. If she's motivated to figure it out, she's always the first. And that's just because I think she sits and she kind of observes, and she doesn't get so crazy excited. And again, you can see how sort of sensitive she is to being told no, right? I took the food away from her, I put her back down, and she turned her body away from the food. Like, okay, I'm being told I can't do that. But when her sister walked over to it, then she walked over to it. So she's very aware and polite. She just doesn't, she's very cooperative and submissive, and she doesn't want to push boundaries, and she just wants to be friends with everybody and snuggle everybody. She is very people friendly and people oriented. She's not afraid of people. And she really likes people a lot, which is, again, very common for Cockapoo. It's really what we expect to see. But you can see that, she tucks her little tail in. Also, something interesting about this little girl, which I know I've mentioned before, but she was born missing a few vertebrae on the end of her tail. So she has a little shorter tail than everybody else, as you can see there. So it's a little like stub tail that she tucks it in. For example, there, she's not likely to really throw herself in my lap. Like, she's very delicate about trying to climb up. She's very careful with her body. Like, she'll climb upstairs, but she's slow and very methodical about things when she's playing. Once she gets the hang of something, she does it. And once she figures something out, she's all over the place and she does all of that fun puppy stuff. I'll have to show inside videos where she's confident and playing and acting like every other puppy. And you'll see with the other puppies as well that they're more likely, they are more similar to her than her white-faced sister as far as being cautious. They are very, very small, and outside is very big and scary for them. They've only been alive a little over a month, and they're just little guys. They don't even have their teeth fully yet. They're not even eating solid food yet. So the world is scary, and mom's not out there. So I expect them to be very cautious outside like this. Unless you have a puppy that's just super outgoing and fearless. And so she's not a fearless little puppy with her little tiny stub tail, which is so cute. As far as looks go, she's really beautiful, does favor that cocker expression, sort of the sweet, sad face, and she's a nice medium wavy coat, so the coat will curl a little more as she gets a bit older. They always do, so she's going to have that nice shaggy sort of teddy bear coat. She's very beautiful, very, very dark red color. She does have green eyes, and you can't quite tell about her nose is chocolate. And here she's enjoying a little bit of belly rub. She put her leg up for me to rub her belly. And she has like that chocolatey brown liver nose. Now I'm going to put her in an uncomfortable situation that she's not going to appreciate, right? I'm putting her upside down, laying her there, and she's going to want to get up. And you can see how she sort of just is like, I want to get up. She doesn't push it. She just sort of relaxes and tolerates it. And I give her a little bit of a treat for tolerating me, sort of bullying her a little bit, sort of laying her down. And I do lay them on their backs quite a bit. I mean, I trim their nails like this and shave the fur off their paw pads and that sort of thing. So it's not a totally unfamiliar position for her, but I am just putting her in it and making her stay there. And so you can see that she's just very easygoing. She just sort of says, okay, this is what we're doing now, so that's what I'm going to do. So she's a very easy, very tolerant puppy who's just, she's very agreeable. She'll just sort of do what she's told to do. She'll push back a little bit. You can see her here, like little feet twitches, and she's sort of looking at me. She's thinking about it. Like she wants to get up, but she's not quite sure if she can or if she should. She hasn't made her mind up yet. She's going to check in with me and, looking at me and like, okay, what's happening? This is happening. But, just rub her little belly and she just chill. And now she's trying to get up, and I'm going to, just snuggle her and pet her and turn her back over and say, no, I want you to stay like this. This is how I want you to stay, and see how I can completely take my hand off of her. And she just stays there. She's just like, okay, I'm going to do what you're asking me to do. So she's just super tolerant, super patient, just very easygoing. And I love that about her. And it does make her, not a super, she's not going to require like a ton of exercise. Like she's not going to require a ton of management as far as like puppy biting and getting into everything. Now all puppies do that sort of thing, but you can see her looking at me like she wants to do what's okay with me, and she's not super upset about it. And then she's just going to climb back underneath me because she does like being underneath people. It's a little bit hot and humid out here, so I'm sure she's looking for a little shade too. But, she wasn't mad at me. She's immediately licks me and chews on me a little. And, she's not upset about the situation, and she plays with me a little bit. So other than the fact that I'd like to put some videos of her being super playful and kind of letting her puppy hair down, I do think, though, that showing the videos of them in a scary environment is very revelatory for their temperaments, because you really see how they handle being a little bit stressed out. Do they recover from it? Do they start exploring, walking around, playing? looking for things. How do they react to that, especially being put in uncomfortable situations. So that's really important with puppies, just like with, any human baby, right? You put them in new, or even adults, I suppose, you put them in new environments and kind of push their boundaries a little bit and let them grow their confidence and see that nothing scary is going to happen. And so that's what it's like with puppies. Socialization is really important. You want to, get them out and about and have them see things. If that is what you expect them to do as an adult, um, face. Just look at her face. I tried to put them on unstable surfaces starting from a young age. And one of the things that I'll do is lay down and let them see if they can try to climb on me. And it always takes them a little bit to really try to do it. But with her, she'll just lay next to me. Like she won't try to climb on me. I did get her to try to climb onto my belly, but she was really nervous about it and I didn't want to push her, so I just placed her up there, which she's lays on people in the house, like in your lap and stuff like this. It's different when it's outside and it's scary. But she didn't want to like walk on me. And you can see her, look at her. She just doesn't feel safe. She feels insecure. And I've never seen her climb up on like the little teeter boards, or when we have pillows, put pillows or blankets on the ground and stuff like that in the house. She'll walk around them. She won't climb over the top of the pillow, right? She's very careful with her body placement until she learns something. Once she figures out how to do something, she'll do it over and over again with lots of confidence. So for her, just like with all puppies, it's confidence building, putting them in new situations, having them try things out, and and that way they learn that they can do it. But it's just a very stark contrast between a very outgoing puppy, a very brave puppy like the little girl with the white face, who's just thinks that everything is great, and she'll just tumble and fall and jump back up and keep going, and it just doesn't she's not sensitive enough to be concerned about it. She's just so full of excitement and energy that she just goes all the time. I always like looking for things like her, any puppy, when they shake like that, that's often a sign of them relaxing. And also you can see her tail is not tucked in right here. She really likes the children. I'm sure because they will just sit and cuddle her while they're, reading or doing whatever. And so she enjoys them a lot. But cockapoos in general just have a tendency to really like little kids. And now she's just going to play with me a little bit and relax. And even when she chews, even when she tries to teeth her mouth, she's super gentle. And even when she strikes out with her paws, she's gentle. And, she's hard to play tug of war with, because if you tug in a way that, if you seem like you're getting a little rough, she'll let go and just come over and lick your face and make sure like, oh, we're not fighting. We're okay. I mean, she doesn't want to fight with anybody. She wrestles with her siblings here and there, but she's not much of a wrestler. She's more likely to wrestle with her mom than her siblings. She just isn't a fighter. She's a lover, not a fighter. I don't know why I showed her this grass, but I did. And so she's curious. And she's a happy little puppy. And definitely going to make a really great lap dog. And she's definitely the type of dog that's just going to follow you all over your house and hang out with you all the time. Her little tiny tail. I suppose having the naturally bobbed tail is better than having a docked tail. But her tail is not docked. She has such a dark red color now. She does have a really dark red color that's less likely to fade as she gets older. She's the only puppy in the litter that has that super dark red coat. The others are just slightly lighter. I know it's hard to tell, but it is. And then here is her sister, who is just like a firecracker. Like, you can't stop her. She is just happy and loves everybody and wants to interact with you. And she's super silly, super playful, just into everything. Definitely the type of dog that if you're very active, if you're very social, if you're out and about, if there's going to be a lot of exercise involved, if there's playful children in the house that want a really interactive puppy that's going to be constantly playing with them, older kids, like babies would not like a puppy like this, because she will be in your face and she will claw them, paw them, nibble on them nonstop. So babies and toddlers would absolutely hate a puppy like this. But active children, playful children, and active adults, social adults, anyone that has a lot of people at the house all the time, or you want to be out and about and you want to take your dog with you everywhere and you want your dog to act like this, she is that puppy. She is just going to be so interested in everything. She is going to require plenty of exercise. You got to walk her or play with her inside every single day. She's, they level out as adults, and none of them, cockapoos in general, aren't like super crazy athletic. So it's not like a Labrador where if you don't take them for a couple of miles every day, you're going to have a destroyed house. But as a puppy, she is going to be more into things. She is going to be the type of puppy where you'll have to make sure that you've got like a lid on your trash can, or the door is closed in the bathroom so she doesn't get into the trash can. Now she takes several tries to figure puzzles out. So she's not quite as fast as her sister. But some of that is just because she's just go, 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 and she's just going to keep going. And eventually something will work, and then it'll happen a few times in a row, and then she'll remember. But once she figures it out, she figures it out. But you can see sort of the difference where her sister just immediately figured it out. She knew exactly how to get the little cap right off. It did not take her long at all. The second time, third time, fourth time that I put it in front of her, she got it immediately. The only thing with her sister was that if I took it away from her to try to reset the puzzle, if I put her back down, she would look at me like, well, I don't want to be in trouble. Like, you took that away from me, so I don't know if I'm supposed to have it. Whereas this little girl, she couldn't figure it out. And then she came over to the people, tried to look at them, like she gave up. She couldn't quite figure it out. Now, I did do this with her a few more times until she did figure it out. So, she can knock a toy off of a food tin now without any hesitation. She has figured the trick out, but it took her about 5 tries. All right. I'm not going to ramble too much longer for you. Sorry. As far as looks go, I think you can see this girl is a curly girl, and she has a lighter golden coat than her sister, and those pretty white markings, and her little pretty white toes, and her never-ending wagging tail. And she's still trying to figure this out, you can see, but she just doesn't quite know. Even getting her to lure, because she gets very excited, and she's hitting me with her feet, and her tail is going crazy. Now, all of the puppies are going to act like this at some point in their development. It's just that she's about 3 weeks ahead of her sisters and her brother as far as how outgoing she is, right? So you'll see in a couple of weeks, the other puppies will be doing the same thing as I'm trying to teach them to follow food, which is called luring. Which is what I'm doing here with her. But she gets it right away because she just keeps trying and she just keeps going forward. She's just a go kind of girl. And so feet up, but it took her a lot longer to figure out how to actually grab the food, find the food, chew the food up, because she's just so fast and excited about what's happening. But she did figure out luring pretty quickly, and she's very motivated because of this sort of energy and going forward. She's very motivated, and so she's the type of puppy that when you're training her, she's going to guess wrong in multiple times, but she's just going to keep trying, and so she won't stop. And so I was trying to get her to sit, but I couldn't quite do it, and I didn't want to focus too much on that, mostly trying to get her to see the actual pieces of food that I was offering her, which kept falling to the floor because she wasn't noticing it, right? Because she's so fast and she just doesn't quite notice things, the little minor things at first. But you could see, I could get her to to run across the entire ground without any hesitation, but getting her to lay flat on her back and to lay still for a minute is going to be harder because she doesn't, she's just not a still girl until she's ready to nap. Otherwise, she's moving around, she's got her little tail going. So getting her, look at her face. She wants to get up. She's going to kick. She's going to squirm. And so I pick her up, and you can see she'll let me just dangle her. She's just going to hang out. She's going to keep being happy. But she will immediately try to get back up. And now she knows I don't want her to. And so, but she still wants to get back up. And so her impulse control isn't terrible, but it's not anywhere near as solid as her sister, who's on that opposite end of the spectrum, where, she just can't quite control her, she just can't quite help herself, right? She's going to try, and then she'll look at me and be like, okay, I'm not supposed to. And then she'll forget and try again, just the difference in energy level and temperament and concentration ability. And I'm trying to reward her for staying still and for laying on her back. But you can see that I couldn't just take my hand right off of her. If I took my hand off of her, she would be up, and I would be doing it over and over and over again. And so that's That's the difference between the two of them. And you can see that really easily, I think, in trying to get them to do something that maybe they don't want to do. She's going to be more wiggly and all over the place. And it takes a couple more, goes for her to realize that I'm saying to her that I don't want her to get up and that she has to fully focus and control herself and stay where I want her to stay, which she does do, and she will figure out. She's just going to take a few more tries, a little more patience, just put her in the right position again and reward her for it, and then just do it again and do it again until she realizes that she's got to slow down and stay still, which is just something they have to learn to do in order to be groomed and have their health checked and things like that. They do have to learn to just control their little bodies and pay attention when you're telling them to stay still. And so it's something that every dog has to learn in order to be cared for properly. So for her, she's just going to require a few more rounds, just put her right back, just put her right back, just put her right back until it sort of clicks into her head that she has to stay still, that that her way out of the situation isn't going to be squirming. Right here, I'm letting her chew on me. I'm trying to see how hard she's biting. And I hollered at her when she bit a little bit hard, and then she kissed me, which is what I love to see. But she's not a hard chewer. She was not chewing me in a really aggressive or hard way. I really like to look at that because puppies all play bite and they all chew on you. And some puppies just bite hard and some bite really soft. And it's nice to know the difference, depending on how much tolerance you have for a chewy dog. So really young children, for example, can really have a tough time with puppy mouthing. And so a puppy like her, she seems like she's going to have a soft mouth. See, she figured it out. She seems like she's going to have a soft mouth, which is good because she's definitely going to be a very playful puppy. So she's going to want to bite on things. So she figured it out finally. So yay. I'm not going to let her have a whole lot because I don't want it to make her sick. So at this stage, they are getting the same kibble that mom is getting with some hot water on it to soften it up, but they're still nursing a lot. They're really not weaned yet. And I will use a little gravy from canned food, and canned cat food, by the way, is like, dogs just freaking love cat food. There's a lot of protein in it. So this is a little can of cat food, and the gravy is really delicious. So it was a very high value reward for this situation, but can't let them have too much. When they're weaning, you really want to keep things kind of consistent because weaning can be tough on their tummies. But as they start to become more accustomed to food, then they'll get to try different treats in larger amounts. So little bits of little treats right now, and we're building that up. So hopefully this was helpful for you to sort of see the difference in temperament and energy level. So she came to my face. I believe she climbs over me at some point as well. She's probably still looking for the food. Or she doesn't know what she's doing. She's just happy and trips over herself and doesn't care. And so I think it is really interesting, though, to see the difference between these two puppies in how they interact with the world and just how comfortable and confident they feel, and the energy level and that sort of thing. Yeah, I think she figures it out. She makes her way up here. Look at her go. And she falls right off. And then she'll come back up and it's no big deal. And right in your face. She's a very in your face kind of girl. Like, she wants to be right up in your face. And as you can see. So they're beautiful. And it's a lot of fun to see the differences. And I'll have the next two girls up. And then our little boy in this litter so that you can see what they're all like. And appreciate the differences. Well, she does try to go in the grass, but she changes her mind. So, very pretty dogs and always a lot of fun. And, what's right for each situation is always a little bit different. So, it's interesting to see the differences. All right. Well, hopefully I'll have those other videos posted over the next couple of days, and then we'll have all the puppies to look at. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.